Alright, got a game with my Bretonnians versus some vampire counts. This is the same player in a very similar list that you've probably seen before that I've uploaded. This is the last regular season game in a league that we're in, which is kind of like an extended 2 or 3 month tournament. We're playing a scenario called guerrilla warfare. Among other things, you get bonus points for killing your opponent's general, for destroying your opponent's biggest unit, and something else, I don't remember. And then we got to pick one unit each of our opponents and push it back to the table edge, and then that unit would not be able to march first turn. Other than that, it's really just a pitched battle. So if you look at the board, on the right we've got impassable terrain, and then we've got those two hills. So that was kind of a defining feature of the game is how to use terrain. You can see he's got 9 black knights with a white king BSB. He's got his Vargulf, mid-sized unit of Skellies. Out of the picture, the one I pushed back to the table edge was his Graveguard with his general. I was kind of hoping, since he needs leadership to be able to march, that could just kind of make it awkward for him to move his troops and have to make decisions about to slow him down and keep them together or whatever. Anyway, then he's got a big unit of Skellies. In the woods there, he's got a Banshee with 3 Wraiths, and behind the woods he's got another Vampire on a Hellsteed. And there'll be another picture shortly, and I'll show what's on the other side of the board. As for me, I've got Mounted Yeoman, 2 big units of Knights Errant. The one on the left with the yellow banner is the one I have the Errantry banner in. I've got big block of Men-at-Arms, Knights of the Realm with my BSB. That's my combat res unit. I've got the War Banner and the Virtue of +1 combat res. Got my General, and you can see my Skirmishing Archers. They're a big unit, 18 strong in there. So, on the other side of the hill, remember he's got his Wraiths and his Vampire behind it. He's got a small block of Skellies, and he's got some Dire Wolves. I've got a unit of Pegasus Knights behind my Archers. I've got another unit of Pegasus Knights to the left of my Archers. He pushed back my Grail Knights with my Damsel to the back of the board. And then, of course, I have my Trebuchet. So, he gets the choice to go first. Moves his Black Knights up. Now, those guys can move through that impassable terrain. They just can't land in it. And so he's using it, I presume, to try to be able to see me and move through that, and it's something I can't move through. So that makes sense to me. Otherwise, you can see he just moves people up. You can see his Graveguard unit caught up with everybody else. That's because during the magic phase he just Van Helsed them. So my whole plan was shot. He suffered no ill effects from the from the guerrilla warfare scenario. Kind of funny. Anyway, there's the other side of the board. Notice he kind of held back with those. I think he didn't want to be charged by my Pegasus Knights first turn, so he's just trying to keep me from moving my guys up on this side of the board. So Brett turn 1. So I put the yeoman up by the impassable terrain, and the way I did it, he can't move his Black Knights up because he can move through that, but he can't end his movement in impassable terrain, and so basically he can't do anything there. At least that's what I was thinking. That's why I put him there. His Vargulf could see me, and he could probably charge me, and that would be the best thing in the world, because I would flee with the fast cav off the board and countercharge his Vargulf with my Knights Errant and get him out of the game real quick. So that's what I was thinking on that side. Otherwise, I just move up a little bit. Secure the hill with my Archers. They won't be able to shoot this turn, but I like being on the hill because my opponent will have difficulty hiding the Vargulf, and since I've got flaming arrows and he can't use his regen, I like shooting at that thing. And move my Grail Knights up. I put my Damsel in the front so she could cast her magic missile spell at the Wraiths, but she can use 2 dice, and my opponent has like I think 5 dispel dice, so it's kind of tough to get off. And then the Pegasus Knights over here, I just wrapped around trying to get the flank. So VC turn 2, he secures a hill, has his Vargulf behind it. His Black Knights, you can see he just kind of moved him over. I think he realized that he wasn't going to be able to do any kind of movement because of that impassable not being able to land in it. So he's just moved over, and you can pretty much see how he moved the rest of his units. There's a look at the board. You can see his Skellies and his Dire Wolves. He's facing my Pegasus Knights, which is kind of funny because if I want to, I can just fly behind him. Yeah. Alright, got a couple things going on here. For one thing, this is his magic phase. I tried to stop that unit coming into me, but I have 2 scrolls, and I decided not to use scrolls for that because really I'm not worried about it. I'm going to win that eventually. I've got combat res galore, and I don't see him wounding my knights very much. So he's going to tie me up for a couple turns, but I'm not really anxious to get that unit out there anytime soon anyway. And because he's wider than me, and because my guys are kind of blocked together, I don't see him getting my flank very easily. So as long as he can't get in my flank, I don't mind my guys being tied up for a couple turns. So that's what I was thinking. I'm not really worried about that combat. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'd like to get that unit out of the way to get some more options, but it wasn't worth a scroll. Okay, this is going to come up later, but I've got Pegasus Knights down at the bottom off the picture. Look at his Vampire on the Steed and the Wraith unit. Because what's going to happen on my turn is I'm going to charge that Vampire, and then he said that I can't charge the Vampire without also charging the Wraith unit. And there's some logic there because they are right next to each other. And I don't want to charge the Wraith unit, but otherwise I'd have to have one guy against the Vampire, my other 2 guys out of combat, and it wouldn't abide by the spirit of the maximize units in contact. So I said that's fine, I'll charge the Banshee unit too. And of course so I'm charging the Vampire, but because the Banshee unit would be in there, he did a stand and shoot and killed 2 of my Pegasus Knights outright. So I think we played that right, but if anybody knows that if we didn't, let me know, because that was very painful, and I didn't like receiving a stand and shoot from a unit that I wasn't trying to charge anyway. But anyway, as soon as that happened, poor Pegasus Knight, I know he's going to die. So for the rest of my turn 2, I go ahead and charge my men-at-arms to his skellies on the hill. I like that too. I know we're going to be stuck there, but as long as he can't get in my flank, I'm not worried about that. I really think that I'm just going to hang out with those guys, probably win over time, and if I need to, eventually I might be able to bring some knights into the flank of their unit and get rid of him fairly quickly if I can get him whittled down first. Otherwise, I'm just moving my knights errant to the right a little bit, angling for that eventual flank charge on the skellies. And again, I'm just dancing with my fast cav. I don't love being forced to hang back here, but I don't really want to move up too much and get a charge by his Black Knight unit. So Brett turn 2. If you look at the Skelly unit with my BSB, you can see they're already dwindled down quite a bit. I take my Grail Knights on the left and I march up because his Direwolves were going to be able to charge me no matter what I did unless I really hung back. And I decided that if he charged me, I think I'm going to win it. Maybe not in one turn, but I think I'm going to win it eventually. So for some reason in this game, I'm taking the attitude of go ahead and charge me, tie me up for a turn or 2. I'm going to get that unit off the board, and then I'm going to be fine. So taking some chances that way, but I just wasn't scared of the Skelly unit or the Direwolf unit charging me. Take my Pegasus Knights, fly it behind the Skelly unit, just give myself some options. Again, if I charge him in the front, his Direwolves could have flanked me, and then I would have automatically lost a unit. So again, it didn't make sense to force the issue. So on my turn, those guys are down pretty significantly, those Skellies. And actually I like that. I want to get rid of the Skellies on his turn so that on my next turn I have options for charging. If those Skellies are dead now, it gives him a lot of options for charging me, and I don't really like that. So I was actually okay with how this worked out over here. So VC turn 3. He's got his graveyard. I'm not sure what he's doing with them. He's angling them. Looks like he's going to come around this way of the board to use them to help deal with all these knights I have over here. Still hanging back with his Black Knights. There's not a whole lot he can do because if he moves up, I'm just going to charge him with all my guys. Svargolf took a wound from my bowman, so he's bringing him around. I'd be much more concerned about that Vargolf if he was going to take him into the flank of the men-at-arms or take him into the flank of my Knights of the Realm unit. The problem is he can't get in between that gap because I'm insisting that he stay an inch away from my guys. And so he might have been able to get him behind the Skellies and threaten the flank of the men-at-arms, but he didn't. That would be the only thing that would have concerned me there. So he charged me, he moved all these guys over. The Skellies in the top left did not charge my Pegasus Knights, of course. They just turned around. So there's after the movement of his third turn, and that's after his magic phase. I could not stop those skellies, and now I'm like, crap. I thought I was going to bust through them this turn on his and be able to charge on my turn, and now that's not going to happen.